Hey guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and I am continuing work today on my Dark Forest journal. Now, I'm kind of stalled out on the cover. I'm hoping I can get over that hump today, but let me show you where I'm at with this. I did secure all of the pages inside. I'm super excited about how these look. There is just such a great variety of papers, and I love the blues and the purples. This is just, I can't wait to decorate this. This is a 2-layer cover, so you can see I made basically 2 covers, and I covered each of them with fabric. I used a scarf, and I attached my signatures to the inside cover, and then I made an outside cover. Same thing, I did put a piece of felt here to give a little bit of stability, and I am still decorating this outside. So my intention is that these two are gonna sandwich together like this and become one super cover. It'll be all glued together nice and neat. It should be nice and thick. I was trying to kind of up my quality game. I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, but it's working for me. I've been able to sew and stitch on all of this and not have to worry about what you can see because they're just gonna sandwich together. All right, so I'm gonna put this bit to the side because that is done. It's ready to go. I've sewed some lace on. There's pockets in there on both sides. I did that before I added the signatures. Signatures are in. It's good to go. So now I'm working on this piece. So I've made, this was, if you watched my last video, yay. If not, I'll update you. This is a vintage light switch cover, and I added a Tim Holtz lock to it along with all of this. This is kind of iridescent tulle and then blue and purple tulle. So it's kind of a mix. And I thought it kind of looked like a magical lock. I tried to cut these kind of leafy, fluttery shapes, and I really like this on here, but I feel like this gold color needs to be pulled around the cover, and also I just feel like it's a little plain. Even though I'm putting this big honking thing on there, I feel like it's a little plain. So you're gonna hang out with me while I try to figure this out. So I have this gold fabric. It's kind of a stretch fabric. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure this is left over from when I was like 7 and my mom made me an angel costume. I can't remember, but it rings a bell and it looks super familiar. And I got this from a bunch of stuff in my dad's basement. So it is highly likely that this is from when I was a kid. And let's see here. I think I'm gonna start by just cutting off a strip of this. This is quite large. It does tear, but it frays a lot. But I'm not sure I can cut. I have pinking shears. I bought a new set of pinking shears. These are massive. Look at those. And I really thought it would give it a nice edge without it. I don't know. Let's attempt to cut something. We'll cut a little and we'll tear a little. How about that? Because I don't think I can cut a straight line. And I am also not willing to measure and cut. Look, I've gotten all, like, it's, look how crooked that is. All right, let's try tearing. It does tear, okay. And it makes a mess, fantastic. We're gonna have to, let me shake this off. Nope, it's still on there. I'm gonna have to run a lint roller over this when I'm done with it. There we go. This fabric, there's a knit scarf here, and then this tulle lace is just, it picks up everything. This poor little journal. All right. And I was wondering if I could run from lace to lace, if I could do something here. I can always, if I want that pinked edge, I can just pink the edges really quickly, and maybe I'll stay a little more even on a shorter piece. Where are my sewing scissors? All the way over here. Let's give that a snip. So the goal here, maybe, let's do a second one down here. Well, the goal is to finish the cover. I was thinking if I built some layers and this is rolled on the edge, that's fine. I can sew it down, or look how bad that is. Let's not use that. Do we have some? Yeah, this is a little straighter. I can use whatever cast off I have here. I'll use it inside the journal. It's not a big deal. Okay, so if I did something like that, and wrapped it around and then put this on top. It seems a bit wide and chunky. It also is just not All right, what if we tear it down even more? All right, give it to you. I'm gonna go like a third and a third. Tear it. I'm gonna tear off to the side here so I don't end up with, there we go, as much flotsam all over my book. Okay, I could also flip this over. The back side of it, there's kind of, let's see, the front is super kind of sparkly. It's got all these metallic threads. The back, you can still see the metallic threads and it's a darker gold. So maybe in this case, especially since it wants to roll up, using the back side of it would be more interesting. Back side of fabric is always a fair game. I like that it's gonna like curl upward and get, because I left some raggedy edges here. I wanted it to just have a little personality. And where's our spine? Oh, I like that a little better. But it's still a little bit like clunky. I'm not sure that I'm feeling it. Let's layer some more stuff on there. Let's try layering it up so that it's just some of the gold. So I pulled some ribbon. This is translucent. This is like clear, and then it has an iridescent edge. I use safety pins to secure all my ribbon around the cardboard so that I don't stab myself, because I will stab myself. 100%. It's gonna happen. So if I kind of layer it up, would it make it feel more magical? Or is my mistake stopping here? See, these are the kinds of quandaries we get ourselves into with our crafting projects. I'm also not sure how I'm going to close this journal. Okay, we're going to just start cutting things and see what happens. Cut a piece of that. What else do we have on here? What else can we play with? There's this darker purple tulle. Am I building kind of like a weird ribbon? Then I'm not sure about the end point. What if I stitch over it though and kind of go back and forth with a zigzag stitch? It might blend it into the lace. So, and if it doesn't, then I'll just come up with some sort of embellishment and put over it. All right, I can't get this safety. The downside of safety pins is they're a little harder to get on and off. Upside is less stabbing. All right, so if I kind of get crazy, I mean, that feels kind of magical, doesn't it? It's giving me a little bit of a vibe. We cut, where's those pinking shears? Give this a little kind of a, make the edge feel a little more special maybe. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I'm still not sure this is going to work, and if it doesn't work, well then I'll have made something super cool to go somewhere else in my journal. So I'm not super worried about wasting my time and making something I'm not gonna use. Let me run to the sewing machine, and I'm gonna use, I have like black and purple thread on there, and I think I'm gonna just layer these up and try to run a zigzag right down. Maybe I'll go down the ends, tack it together that way. I know I want to stitch it. All right, let me go see if I can stitch this together and what we end up with. And if I like it, I'll make a second one. I'll be right back. Well, I think that was a pretty successful. I really like how those layered up. I used the pinking shears on the end to kind of blend those edges a bit. And I think those are gonna go right across there very nicely. I am gonna sew these on instead of gluing them. I think that it will, another row of stitching could look good. It's gonna help secure everything down, and I don't have to worry about the glue seeping through. So that, I think, is gonna give me a much nicer cover that's gonna pull that gold around. I like how that looks. I think it's really pretty, and I think that's good for there. Now, I think I might like to add a little something to the spine. So I'm gonna figure this all out before I go sewing everything on. So I've got these two pieces. This is gonna go here, and my spine is, here, we'll pull this off. My spine is fairly wide. we go, like that, and also fairly linty. But it might be nice to have something run right down the middle of this, and I am not sure what that something should be. Now I've got, oh, well, I don't mind that. I feel like I cut a whole strip of this off in my last video. It must be in this bin. Let's see here. Is it on top is the question. Aha! There we go. Is that long enough? That is my bin of inspiration. I'm trying to make a spot where I collect items. Ooh. Just got all kinds of weird, funky textures going on here. All right, so if that goes there, and that goes across there, and that goes across there, and this goes here, that seems like it could be a fun thing. I kind of like it, and I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to overthink this, because then nothing gets done. I don't know if I want to add a piece of ribbon down the middle of this. This is it. This is the thing. Where did the ribbon go? What do I have here? That feels kind of repetitive, and I don't think I have anything. Like, I don't have like a black lace, or I have this, which is, it's quite large, and I've already used quite a bit of it. I'm looking around on my table. I'm thinking. And I am not seeing anything. I don't have a lot of black, which is a shame because this is a very black lace oriented project and I don't have a lot of it. So I think I could add something later if I really wanted to. I could just run it over all of this. It could be fun. It would create some layering. And I'm gonna run with this. Let's sew this on and then we can think about it again. So back to the sewing machine. All right, so I've got it all stitched up, and I'm not gonna lie, I love it when it's like this, and that's how it's gonna be, so that's a good thing. But like this, it's just like a wackadoodle mess. At least I feel like it. But no, it's super cute like this. Look, I like it. And there's some little fringes. I could trim those up a little bit on the side just because they're sticking up, or I'll leave it and make it look all crazy pants. And then this is gonna go on the front. And I kind of like that. I'm gonna roll with it. All right, so the next step is to make a tie for this, and I think I might keep it simple. I've got this black lace. I've already used it on the cover, and I think maybe just a couple of pieces inserted. I can even cut down so it's just this lacy part. Maybe I'll use the pinking shears, and that'll create like a little rough edge. This was part of a layered skirt on, I think, a dance costume or a Halloween costume from one of my nieces. So I'm not sure how much we need to be able to tie a bow. I think we're going to use most of this. Let's see, we should get our lengths first. So one, yeah, it's going to use a lot of this. I'm going to just cut right about here and then grab my pinking shears. And I'm just gonna get rid of some of this extra bulk, and just a little bit of it because it's super raggedy. I think it'll get raggedy again, but I kind of like the pinkest edge. I'm sure it's gonna get raggedy as it gets used and tied and untied and retied, but I like that. I like it, but I think right now there's too much of it. I'm not worried about it being perfect or straight, or just taking off some of that excess. I'm going to keep that. That'll be fun to play with later, this little cutoff. And I left like a lumpy, weird spot. There we go. And I will cut this in half. Half-ish. And this doesn't seem to want to like unravel terribly, so I'll just insert that right in between, down into the camera, right in between, and that's gonna give like a little lace tie that I can use to keep my journal shut. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this all together, I think. So I'm gonna start by gluing in my ties. And I thought maybe you guys might like to see the construction process on this, or maybe you just like to watch people make okay looking journals on the internet. Let's aim for about the middle, and I'm just gonna put a good amount of glue here to put my tie into. I have been noodling over this cover for, oh gosh, days now. This does have a right side and a wrong side. Doesn't matter too much. Oh, that was much larger than I expected it to be. So we're gonna need some more glue. I mean, this whole thing's gonna have glue all over it anyway, so doesn't really matter. All right, there's that one, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Here's my other piece. Let's try to find. Shedding little bits of black fluff everywhere. There we go. All right. So those are on. Now, let's see. I think the next step is let's get the spines together. This fabric that I used had a little bit of give. That's why I put the felt inside here. I'm hoping that I didn't want to put a second piece of felt on the other one because I was worried it would just be a little bulk. It would cause some weird bulk. So I'm gonna just line these up and then close it briefly. Make sure everything is in the right spot or pretty darn close. That looks good. And those lined up really nicely. Gosh, usually I use cardboard when I do like an inner lining, and this time I used a thicker chipboard. It was more, usually I use like a cardstock rather, so it's a lot thinner, and this would be more like if you use the cereal box for each layer. That's what I did here, and I like that a lot better. It's adding a lot more heft to the journal. I'm slowly making my way towards learning, not bookbinding, but just learning to make sturdier covers. I am not planning to sell journals. I mostly just want to sell printables. I used to sell handcrafted shipped goods, and it caused me a lot of stress over COVID. I did the same thing for 20 years, and I had always wanted to start a printable business, and I said, no, this is it. I'm done. I was starting to have some repetitive stress issues and some problems just in general, and I was like, this is it. I need to be able to vary my schedule with how I'm feeling and just chase this printable dream. And fortunately my husband is super supportive, and here I am trying to make a go of it. So I went off on a tangent there, but anyway, my plan is not to sell completed journals, not at this time. Who knows what the future might bring. I'm hoping I've got at least another 20 years to go to build this business and see where it takes me. Come on, glue. But I just wanted to do the printables, and then I was like, oh, it'd be fun to make a YouTube channel and show people and just play and have a good time and show people what they can do at home. And so here I am. Come on, line this up. I think I'm going to leave it open. Let's get everything lined up really nicely, and this is going to have to dry for a while. All right, everything is dry. The journal's all together. It's looking good. I'm very happy with it, but I feel like it's not quite finished. So when I had flipped it over, I realized that there was just no finishing here. So I did add this little strip of gold to the back, and I felt like that finished it off a lot better. And I'm gonna do something similar to the front. So I've got another strip of that gold fabric, and I'm gonna put that right along here. But first, I grabbed some trim. I want to add a little more detailing here. I felt like it was still a little plain. There we go. And I feel like this is so much more fancy schmancy. So we're gonna glue this on because obviously I've glued the covers together and I can no longer stitch things together. So I did kind of a rough cut. I also did trim up this fringe on the side a little bit. It was pretty crazy. So I gave that a little bit of a snip down the edge. I'm gonna try to tuck this under the fringe a little bit. Cut that down. I'm gonna put a little bead of glue This is my Fabri-Tac. It glues just about anything to anything, and I'm just doing a really, really thin bead of that along here, and then without letting go. This is pretty lacy. I wouldn't have wanted to sew this on anyway because I think it would detract from the design on the lace. There we go. I can just kind of tuck that in. And then same thing on the bottom. Blue string. And then I can still add something to the spine if I want, but now that I'm adding more detailing, I'm a lot more satisfied with where this is at. It just felt kind of plain to me, and it wasn't getting where I wanted it to go. And sometimes projects like this just do that. They fight you the entire way. All right, bring that fringe up. And then right down this whole thing. Is this trimmed? I don't know. Well, it's pretty good. So I'm just gonna run a bead of glue. This is what I did on the back as well. I figured, it's the back. Let me try it. Let's see how I like it. And it looked quite nice. So I went for it. And it was just a real thin bead of glue, and I didn't feel like it was soaking through this fabric horribly. And then because the fabric kind of curls up, there's a little room for error on that. There we go. Just kind of make a nice border there. Now I have covered up a lot of, I had left this kind of fluttery edge. I've basically covered that up at this point. That has disappeared, and honestly, that happens a lot when you're building layers. You build one thing with one intention, and then next thing you know, you've glued 5 things over it. And then there is my pretty lock. And that's gonna be it. I think this is it. I'm gonna glue this on at a later date. I'm just gonna set it to the side for now so that it doesn't get all banged up and it's not like clunking around while I'm working on the book. So this will go to the side and stay safe. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me muddle through this process of finishing up the cover of this journal. You can find the Dark Forest Journal Kit in my Etsy shop. There will be links in the description down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.